like, yeah, I'm pissing all you people off on purpose, but you're still giving me all your money.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Cloud.
And this is We Watch Movies. This week's movie is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a 2014 science fiction action-adventure comedy film directed by Michael Bay, starring Skype, Nokia, Windows, Pizza Hut, Google, Lenovo, Orange Crush, Toshiba, Dunkin' Donuts, Verizon, the NBA, Michelin Tires, Manly Amplifiers, and Under Armour. Wait a minute. No, that's wrong. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a 2014 action-adventure science fiction comedy film directed by Jonathan Liebsman, starring Megan Fox, Will Arnett, William Fichtner, Whoopi Goldberg, Alan Ritchson, Jeremy Howard, Noel Fisher, Johnny Knoxville, and Tony Shalhoub. How about a plot synopsis?
It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. By God, if you don't already know what this kind of story is about, then your life is a mess. Get your shit together and go watch something old. Seriously, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, half the people who even watch TV anymore, like, know what TMNT is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, like, when I saw Whoopi Goldberg, like, because I sat down in the theaters, I was watching this, and Whoopi Goldberg shows up, and I'm like, what happened to you, Whoopi? Like, you're on, like, Celebrity Square and nothing, and it's like, oh, you are like having the same kind of problem that, like, Fishburne is having in Man of Steel.
Fishburne.
Like, we're not gonna play Fishburne. Like we're not even playing an important role. It's just we work for the newspaper.
Yeah. No, it's TV. It's TV news.
Well, she works for TV. He worked for the newspaper.
Yeah.
But it's still the news.
Yeah.
And they're black. And the role isn't that important. Like, almost anybody could have played that role. And it's just like, oh, we'll get Whoopi Goldberg because people know who she is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know if it's necessarily stunt casting, because it's not like you saw. Well, it's not like you have to see it coming, because really, Matt Damon in Interstellar is stunt casting, because it's like, look, Matt Damon, and it's like, oh wait, I'm looking at Matt Damon now, and I care about this movie even less suddenly because I'm distracted by Matt Damon. But yeah, because it doesn't need to be Whoopi Goldberg. It's not an important part at all. And
now, I'm not hating. I like Whoopi Goldberg. So seeing Whoopi Goldberg on screen, I have no issue with that. I just felt it was a little misplaced. Now, she's good at what she does, so playing that high level kind of power within, like, the news studio kind of position, and her having to make these decisions, and her treating Megan Fox the way she does, I'm okay with that.
Which is entirely appropriate, because she keeps coming to her saying, I've got a story, we have to put this on TV, and has nothing that you could put on TV. And no evidence. Yeah. And even after she has evidence, she does have a picture of them, which then she goes and shows to the accountant. Wait, that was Drive Angry.
Yes, the accountant.
It's
still the accountant because he's still the bad guy.
He is. And he keeps talking about money and so forth, so still. But she doesn't show her. She shows her a picture of actual turtles. And is like, look, a turtle that has nothing exceptional about it. Put this on TV.
Well, she even had that one little clip where, like, the turtle, like, pops its head out against the glass and, like, causes the little impact shatter. And it's just like, that's kind of crazy. That's from a long time ago. Like, you could have at least shown her that. Like, that's something that you can't believe.
Yeah.
Like a turtle's in a cage is nothing. A turtle smashing that cage is something.
But that doesn't prove that they're walking around fighting crime, which is what she's claiming.
It's better than what she did show.
Yeah, it's better. But even that, this is the same problem that among many, that Amazing Spider-Man had, where it's like, I don't need the main character that we're going to follow around to have their father or someone directly tied into the secret history of the thing that's causing the events that are happening now. I don't need Peter Parker's father to have been trying to develop the spider for the particular purpose that it eventually became when he got bitten by it. I just need it to be a random research because of radioactive spider that causes unexpected effects that nobody thought of. And I don't need them trying to create something with the turtles that then eventually becomes something more than what they thought it is, and then they escape, and then apparently he shot her even though that isn't what Splinter remembers at all, and so they can't even make up their mind what the secret history is. I don't need it. Like, stop it. You don't have to tie everything in that tightly, because then it just becomes unbelievable and such a huge pile of heavy coincidences that it just weighs the whole movie down and keeps it from being able to be anything at all, if you didn't even have any other problems.
Well, here's a question for you. Foam or froth?
What?
Exactly. That's like the thing that we lead with this movie is we have Will Arnett. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Arnett?
Will Arnett.
Yeah.
Who's trying desperately to be his Arrested Development character in a completely different setting. And I don't even really like him in Arrested. I don't like Arrested Development especially. I think it's kind of dumb in most of it, and it has moments, but it doesn't work. Although they do sort of like poke at it if you know what's happening, because he's making a mustard and Parmesan cheese sandwich at one point, which is an Arrested Development thing. But
well, it's just that thing. It's like, because that's what they want to lead this movie off with. We're gonna have a intro where Splinter talks to us with like the whole intro credits and, you know, fast moving stuff that you would see like in the Spider-Man or the X-Men, like the gene scene and all that kind of business. And then it's just like, yeah, man, you got to treat yourself better because, you know, you're Megan Fox and you're supposed to be hot, but they're going to write your character to be a complete idiot.
Yeah, well, because she has to bumble around because the turtles are the ones that are important. Because she has to just not know what's happening, and Will Arnett has to be the equivalent of the two Transformer twins in a single person. Because nothing he ever says in the entire movie is funny or anything but obnoxious and destroys the scene that he's in, what little was there.
Well, this is how I'm going to combat that. Not him, but for her. Is April O'Neil is a good enough character.
Oh, she should be.
We know this. But we know this. We know this because there was a movie called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out years and years and years ago, and it did not suck at all. It was silly and funny, and it had a lot of action in it, and the story was entertaining. The characters were interesting, and yes, like legit shit. And then it's just like, oh yeah, well now the Turtles are huge, and Megan Fox. I'm just like, what?
Well, about the Turtles though, because when this was before this came out, there was a whole bunch of like people. The first publicity shots of what the Turtles were going to look like came out, and people were like, "That looks terrible. We hate this." And I think they look mostly like what you would expect them to look like if you were doing sort of what they would look like, but without having to do it the way they had to in the 90s one. And without being as cutesy as the cartoons are. I think they're okay. The way they look. I don't know if they're okay otherwise, but it didn't bother me the way that they looked. But I also don't remember if they changed the way they look from the way they originally looked. I can't imagine that they did, because it's got to be so much production and rendering and that there's no way they could have changed. Because they did do it with Bane's voice. Because they even though they still say that they didn't, but you can watch that first trailer and everybody's like, I can't understand what he's saying, and you can't. And then the movie
the funny
comes
thing
out
was,
and you watch
like,
that same scene, and you're like, that is different from what was in the trailer. Don't tell me you didn't change it. No. I don't care if you're Christopher Nolan. I don't believe you. Because we have evidence.
All right. Well, the problem is, when they had the trailers out, the faces looked terrible, and people were complaining, and then somebody, I don't know the guy's name, I don't know who all he was associated with, but he went through and he took the trailer that was the whole on the rooftop, the first time we get to see him in the movie kind of thing, that he took that scene and he redid their faces to make them look more like the originals, and they looked really, really, really good. Like, they look so good that it's like, okay, the original design, like the stuff from the old cartoons, the newer cartoons, all the comic series, even the older movies, like the design, the shape of their face, all he did was he took that and then he made it the same quality as like the rest of the turtle. And it looked great. And it's like, okay, well, this is believable. It doesn't mess up the way that the face moves when they talk, and it looked really good. And it's just like, yeah, like if they could just kind of do that, it would be great, and then no one could complain about the faces. But the faces still look terrible, because whenever Mikey takes off the mask and he goes, oh, it's just a mask, it's okay, like he still looks terrible.
I guess.
Like I think Leo looked a bit all right because his face looked more like a person's face and it was less scrunched up. Raph still had some issues. Mikey did look the worst. But when it came to Donatello, like his face coloring was very much different. So there was a lot of like differentiations between like the side of his face, like the circle of his mouth, the chin, the forehead. But they covered most of that up with like the fact that he wore like a helmet and a series of goggles and his glasses and like all this other tech that he carried around with him. So you paid less attention to his face compared to all the shit he carried with him. But Mikey stood out the most because they always wanted to focus on Mikey's face so he could make a joke.
Yeah.
And at least Mikey's jokes and silly shenanigans were entertaining compared to Will.
Yeah, well, they were better than Will Arnett. Sometimes they were still not that good, but
well, the whole cat chopstick playing chopstick thing, like that's a really, really old video, and I'm sure they could have picked something else
like
to use.
7 years old.
Or as the internet would like to say, like 7 million.
Yeah.
Like
7
one day is a year.
years old. Like so yeah, it's terribly internet old. It's ridiculous. Like it was old, and it's not just because movies take like 2 or 3 years to make. Like it was old then when they started. Yeah. So there's still no excuse. But
now all this okay, because I want to step away from the Turtles for a minute because I want to go back to April O'Neil because she brought the movie down. I could deal with Will Arnett because
he's not in the whole movie.
He's not in the whole movie, but he himself has very specific purposes, and he does those purposes. It's just he's annoying on camera. That's all it really is. But she sucks. I mean, April O'Neil was, like, good at her job. She was just, not always on the top rung. So, things had to happen. And so, like, okay, well, now that I'm friends with the Turtles and we're fighting the Foot Clan, I always have, like, front row access to stuff. But, like, no, like she just does shit and she doesn't even seem to know how to do her job. I mean, but that was the thing, is like her goddamn phone. Like our Nokia's like that, where it's like, oh, I can't take a picture because there's low light.
Absolutely not. All of the Nokia cameras, which we never see it on her screen, but we see it on the accountant Sack's screen when he's giving the "we're gonna drain all the blood out of them" speech. Which, he's like, even if it kills them, it's like, if you drain all the blood out, it will. It's not in question. But it's very clearly a Windows phone, which is surprising the amount of mix of things that we have, because there's a lot of Nokia, there's Windows on laptops, there's Skype, but then there's also a whole lot of Google happening. So apparently they didn't go all the way and just get Bing and just buy the whole everything Microsoft makes.
Well, everybody hates Bing, so, I mean, it would have been a bad idea anyways.
Well, it's not like Windows 8 is that popular either. But
most people don't have a choice on Windows 8. It's like, oh, well, it's Windows 8 or a $5,000 Apple laptop. I guess I'll use Google.
$5,000. Yeah, but no, like they will take a picture no matter what. There might be some grain in it, but it's probably going to be as good or better, usually better, unless you're on like some of the really low end devices. But even what would be low end on other things, which are technically mid-range on Nokia devices are really, really good. Like, you'll get a picture. That was ridiculous. Because nothing will tell you that. There is no camera that exists that will tell you, no, we will just not take a picture. There's no phone and there's no camera. It'll take a picture. It might be solid black when you actually take it, but it won't tell you we won't do it because there's low light. And then the light doesn't even change because she's still sitting in the same spot. And then she takes a picture. She takes it too late after he's already jumped out of sight, but she still takes it. And there's not low light then. So it's just dumb and ridiculous to keep her from having evidence, to keep the plot where they want it to be.
The problem is it has a flash, and then she uses it. And then it's like, oh, well, see, now the Nokia phone has to have a flash on it so she can take the picture, it flashes, and then lets the turtles know so they can have that scene.
Yeah,
but it's
and
like,
it would
seriously?
let them know, but they are so too far away for a flash to help you take the picture. Like, if you're outside, like, 6 feet, the flash isn't going to help.
Yeah. But it's just, like, it was just ridiculous. Like, that phone. Like, someone needs to just get her a new phone.
No, well, it's a really terrible misrepresentation of the phone she has.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm not saying Nokia phones are bad. I'm saying her phone is bad. Like, regardless of what phone she uses, the phone in the movie is bad. And someone needs to, like, throw it down onto the ground and step on it. And then just be like, here's a flip phone.
To just take a step out and be a little more general. Like, I joked about it at the beginning, but this is not a Michael Bay directed movie. He did produce it.
No, it's a Michael Bay produced movie.
It has his Platinum Dunes logo at the beginning. But could this, like, if you didn't know that this was not, which nobody does. Everybody thinks that Tim Burton directed everything that everybody else did that he produced. And this, like, how is this not directed by Michael Bay? Like, you would not know if you just watched it and didn't notice who actually directed it. It looks like it's shot like Michael Bay shoots a movie. It's all Dutch angles and movement and lens flares and craziness and amazing CG and dumb, annoying characters that are supposed to be comical. Like, it's a Michael Bay movie. Like, is it just that he just stood right off to the side and said, "No, I'm just producing. See what it says on my hat? I'm just the producer. You just pretend you're directing, but actually do it this way." Like, that's what it seems. What it looks like. Like, how do
because that's the thing. It's like, it's like it's just titles. Like I can't be known as the director for TMNT, so I've got this other guy who's just my puppet, but I'm actually directing it anyways because I'm Michael fucking Bay.
That's what it seems like because it's so Michael Bay.
And, like, I don't even have a problem with that because I like Michael Bay. I like the stuff Michael Bay makes. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying I like it because, it's like he's good at being a troll. Like, I'm gonna make stuff that people are gonna hate and be mad at and are gonna say it's terrible, but it's okay because people are going to spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on each film I even have my name on.
Because it's gonna make so much money.
Exactly. It's just like all the money that he makes, and it's like he's doing it on purpose. Because it doesn't even matter. It's like a game. It's like, yeah, I'm pissing all you people off on purpose, but you're still giving me all your money. Like, why do I care?
I guess you don't. I mean, there's no reason to care. What did this thing cost anyway? Like, it had to cost like a load and a half.
More money than I've got, that's for sure.
It actually didn't cost excessively much. 125 million. That's less than any of the Transformers. So
wow, that's actually not too bad.
I can't believe it's as because it's not. I think it's a mix of, like, every now and then there's like something that's real that's supposed to be either the Turtles or Splinter or somebody, but most of it is entirely CG, and it's the sort of skin version of the way that the Transformers look. Every now and then they'll be a little too shiny and it won't look exactly like you'd like it to, but mostly you're just like, yeah, that's good enough. I buy that. Not at all to put down the amazing animatronics in the 90s movies because they are still really, really great and still are the best thing about, especially the later ones, especially 3. But they're so, but there's no way nobody would do that now. But it's really, maybe their faces look dumb, but you don't have too much of a time believing that they're there.
Well, yeah, I'd say, like, because, like, the faces still look bad, but, like, they seem organic.
Yeah.
That's
well,
the thing.
remember,
Like,
they are 6
you
feet,
can have
6-foot turtles. 6 foot looks like a turtle. Kind of teenage attitudes.
Yeah, I'm about. Yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is if it's organic, having something organic as CG is more difficult than having something that's mechanical or metallic. Because, like, metallic is going to be metallic. I mean, it's not as difficult because as long as it has a metalish look to it, then you can get away with it.
Yeah, it's
But
a hard
anything
surface.
that's
It's okay if it's shiny. I mean, we've seen that in video games for a long time, how good racing games have been able to look compared to other types of games that have people in them. It's just...
Yeah. Like, the people always look off because, skin is hard. Now, let's see here.
Except not, because metal is and skin is soft, and that's the problem with it.
Haha. And again, a flash. Okay, so I already made the comment about the stupid phone flash.
Yeah. How does she not remember? Like, she suddenly remembers all of this. Like, oh yeah, my dad and the turtles in the lab and all of this, and I've got all these videotapes in the closet. But she remembers none of it before.
Oh, like if you even try to get into that subject, there's gonna be like, oh, it's childhood trauma.
No, it's not.
Like,
there was no trauma.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, the dad died, but still.
Well, okay. Here's the deal. You have the dad and the daughter. They're in the laboratory. Obviously, they're not together. Then there's a fire, and then there's...
Which the dad starts.
Yeah, like, the dad starts, but, she doesn't know that. She just knows there's a fire, because she obviously saves the turtles and the rat, and then somebody kills her dad, but she never knows that someone killed her dad. She just knows that her dad died in the fire. And so, like, that's all that is.
Which was good enough until the movie decided otherwise.
Yeah. Well... Yet again, I'll have to come back to that, but like some of the issues, like, because I have all my notes in order, but okay, we already know that Shredder is the bad guy. That's the thing. This is TMNT. Shredder is, he is our Dr. No. He is like the top bad guy that, like, never seems to die, and we do not need him to have bullshit lines. And one of the first things that they show with us is you have this guy, you can't see his face, he's tied up with rope, and then he pretty much kills this guy with his feet. Then he breaks all these ropes into, like, little pieces that fall to the ground, and then he makes a comment about how your men suck and they should have done better, and you've been trained to handle these contingencies, and then, hey, use bait. Use innocent people as bait. Like we don't even need you to say use innocent people as bait. Like, you could have just said something a little more generic and it would have been fine. Because saying,
but he's evil.
Exactly. Like they're milking it, and, like, you don't have to milk it because we already know the Shredder is the bad guy. It's not like, oh, well, he's the the asshole who redeems himself. Like, no, this is the bad guy.
Yeah, but even if you don't, I don't want to just keep saying,
film.
Well, everybody knows about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so you don't have to explain anything. It still has to stand on its own, just in case you don't. But it's very clear from his scene, like, every scene he's in, you meet him immediately, they're like, well, of course he's the bad guy. Like, you don't even need to know his name to know he's the bad guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's because you don't need to know, because you already see it. He doesn't have to have the bullshit lines.
No.
Because it's like, as every time that he ends up having to say something, it just kind of seems like it's unnecessary forced bullshit.
Like everything everyone says. Just about.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so, like, I'm going to talk about the Foot Clan for a minute. The Foot Clan is also bullshit, because the Foot Clan originally were trained. Like, they were, like, trained ninjas. That's how they operated. They were stealthy. They snuck into places. They stole stuff, and then they'd get out. And
what about this? They're named that because they walk over the people thing. Like, I don't remember. Yeah, like, that I thought.
Yeah, like what? What is this? Michael Bay's at it again. But like they don't look like ninjas. They just look like mercenaries. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
they
we're
have
just dudes who wear
guns.
black with guns. Like, yeah, like this is unnecessary.
Like the only one that seems to be a ninja or anything close is Shredder. Like everyone else is just dudes with guns.
And so like April O'Neil is like she goes in there to try to get the scoop. As all these people are running out of the subway station. So she goes in there, and then she decides that she wants to be sneaky. But when it's quiet and you walk and you can hear your own footsteps, you're not being sneaky enough.
No. I mean,
so
really, though, there's
just-
nowhere for that guy to have come from. Because we have this shot that's rotating around her the whole time, a very Michael Bay kind of shot. And the camera moves around her, and suddenly the guy jumps up from behind where we just clearly saw, like, 30 feet of space where no one could possibly have been. So it's like a fridge scare, except we saw behind the fridge before it happened. So even that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, if you can hear you, other people probably can.
Now, when the turtles show up, okay, because I got some issues with the turtles themselves, but when they show up and it's like it's dark and like the subway train is coming through and they're kicking everybody's ass, that was so ridiculously fast that it's just like, okay, so we beat everybody up and we tied all the Foot Clan members with rope, which came from nowhere.
A lot of rope. It's like
a lot
15
of rope.
people in complicated knots, and they're all in a line, so like it's one continuous piece of rope. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then it's just like, and then like we'll manage to escape using the weird yellow tube hatch thing.
But we'll only escape to the top of this building before we start making obvious noise.
No. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on the turtle bit. Why are they 6 foot tall, superhuman, and bulletproof?
Reasons.
I know it's kind of a Michael Bay thing because you can have these super awesome action scenes and everything's like really like in your face and things are happening. But that was one of the things that was good about the Turtles was, you know, they were just normal people size and they weren't super strong. They weren't exactly bulletproof, but you didn't need that because since they knew martial arts and the Foot Clan knew martial arts, it was about them having to work together to keep from being overwhelmed by the Foot Clan so they could do all this stuff. And then they fought Shredder. And then, you know, Shredder was supposed to be, you know, a master level kind of guy. And so they had to like be incredibly well, I don't even like, they had to be a well-oiled machine to fight him. But that was the thing, is like, oh, he was just covered with some armor that had blades on it, so it's more difficult to actually get on him. But then they like, okay, so we're gonna make the turtles bulletproof, and that way they don't exactly have to fight the Foot Clan. The Foot Clan can just shoot at them. So like, but why?
So the action has no consequence, and so it can go
exactly.
On
it's just like, you know, we're gonna have the bad guys, and they're gonna be like the faceless bad guys, and they're gonna have guns, but it won't matter because our heroes are bulletproof.
Yeah, because there aren't even any henchmen. There's Sax and Shredder and faceless dudes with guns. Like, there are no other characters on the bad guys' side. There's nobody. There's no, like, right-hand man. There's nothing.
There's the one chick with, like, the purple red streak in her hair. But like that's the thing. It's like she just kind of shows up, does a little bit of stuff, talks to Shredder, and then, like, it's like Shredder gives an order, he gives it to her, and then like the Foot Clan just does stuff after that point. So it's not even like her being there wasn't exactly important other than hitting that one tree with their vehicle rolling. But all of this stuff seems incredibly out of place. But then to have balance, because, you know, the old TMNT stuff, the Turtles were never really able to completely beat Shredder because he was always better than them. So they always had to work together, and then they might beat him. They, you know, like the first movie, they thought he's dead, but he's not dead. The second movie, you know, he ends up being crushed in a trash compactor, but, you know, that's a whole different story. But like the old cartoons and all that kind of thing, you know, Shredder was actually an alien, and the body was a robot body. But that was fine because that was later in the story and none of it really mattered. But here's the thing: is they're treating him like he's a human. He obviously lives at the end of the movie because we see him alive, but he has to wear a suit of power armor just so he can fight the Turtles. So for Shredder to have his iconic look, it has to be a power suit just to be on even ground with the Turtles. So there's a lot of unnecessariness here.
Yeah. But it's blade hands and magnets that pull him back to him and stuff. Magnets.
Well, see, that's that's just technology. But the thing is, like, it's the fact that he has to have a power suit just so they can be on a more even ground. It's like, oh yeah, like, so we're 4 turtles who are like super strong, and we can just take your head in our hand and then just crush it because we're like incredibly superhuman. But the bad guy is going to have power suit.
Yeah. Which apparently Sax made before he knew that there were turtles to fight using it.
Yeah.
So, like, who is he going to fight? Like, who, except the turtles, do you need that suit to fight?
Exactly. Therefore, more unnecessariness.
Well, and more knowing that the movie that's about to happen is going to happen. Even though they're inside it and can't possibly. It really is very, very Amazing Spider-Man like it's all like the history and the father and things, and then the ending is the fight on the building over a gas canister thingy, and like it's all like it's very, very Amazing Spider-Man. Well, I like
this movie more than Amazing Spider-Man, so
I don't know, it's close, but.
I said in comparison, if I had to pick between the two, I will always pick this one over the Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, this one at least has the semi truck down the mountainside scene, which is pretty cool actiony, even though it's kind of dumb. But
like I can't complain about that one because the way that scene was constructed. I mean,
it was exciting.
Like,
it was exciting.
Like, it's like, whoa, like, oh shit, like that's the thing. It's like, you knew it was gonna end with a cliff. But that's fine, because it wouldn't have felt right if it didn't end with a cliff.
Yeah.
Because, like, what's the point of having to deal with all of this if there isn't, like, a need to suddenly stop or we're all going to die kind of thing?
So, also, in the knowing the movie is going to happen category, he has this business card that apparently has a tracking device in it. That he just has. He just has it on him. He didn't know April was going to come to his house. He didn't know that she was going to have discovered that the turtles that they were working on 15 years ago happened to become the vigilantes that are fighting the Foot Clan. But he just has this tracking device business card that he's just like, hey, why don't you give me a call if you find out anything else so I can track you to the turtles' headquarters. Like,
now, it'd be like different.
More than one of those. He's just like, I might need to follow some people around. I better just have these tracking device cards. Like, what is that?
Well, it'd be different if it showed him walking up to a desk and opening up a drawer, and then like he just pulled something out, and then like, okay, well, he doesn't carry him with him, but we know it exists.
No, but it's just in the
like,
middle
let me just pull it right out of my pocket.
The history of feudal Japan scene. Yeah, he just has it. It is a cool business card, though, because it's all like the Sax logo is cut out and stuff. It's like 2 layers of color. But, and just because I need to mention, even though there's nothing to talk about it, there's at least one, if not more, big industrial fans.
Yeah.
So, they edge around so much having her actually say the real title. Because she doesn't. She says it in the wrong order.
Like, no, what it was is she says it in the same order they say it to her.
But they say it in the wrong order.
And I just couldn't help, because there's another one that's just like this. But, yeah, it's like, oh, well, we're Ninja Teenage Turtle Mutants.
But then they have no reservations at all about having Will Arnett just say, with no prompting or anything, heroes on the half shell. And it's just like, I'm just throwing my notepad at the screen. Like, what? You just said that? Really?
Well, it's okay. That's the funny thing, because I was just about to make that comment. Because when I was in the theater watching this, when he said, oh, okay, so they're heroes in a half shell, I said out loud, turtle power.
I
Like, I said it, and then I had to, like, cover my mouth because I realized I had I didn't
You
whisper
said
it,
it
I
out
just
loud.
said it. I just said it. And at least it was well received within the crowd because, like, I could just hear people, snickering and, like, yeah, turtle power. Because that was the thing. Because, like, that's how it always was. It's heroes in a half shell, turtle power. And when he said that, it was just like, oh, I broke that one. I broke that one. I couldn't keep it in. Let's see here. Yeah. And there it is. Ninja Mutant Turtle Teenagers. Yeah, that was the order. Because I wrote down the order. It's like, yeah, they're Ninja Mutant Turtle Teenagers. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just trying too hard because you could just totally not have any of that be said, and it would have been better than that.
Well, I was okay with it because the cameraman guy made the comment about that just sounds weird. Like, how would you even say it like that? So, like, because the order was wrong, the comment was made about it sounding wrong. So at least the movie itself understands that it's wrong.
I guess, but they do it so many times that it's not just like, well, we want this one line and we know it's dumb, but if we hang a lantern on it, it won't be as bad. They do it over and over and over. They have something dumb happen and then have the movie comment on how dumb it was. And it's like, well, yeah, all you did was just confirm what it just happened and everybody thought, well, that was dumb. And then the movie said, well, that was dumb. And it's like, well, yeah, but then why did you do it? Like, we all agree that it was really dumb. It doesn't help that you said that it was when you do it that many times.
Well, now, I'm not exactly for sure on what all you're referencing, because anything that the turtles say or do amongst themselves, I don't include in that kind of category, because that's kind of what I expect from them communicating with each other anyways. So if Mikey does something stupid and then he says that was stupid and then someone agrees with him, then I'm gonna have to go with it because, yeah, Mikey's kind of stupid. So, like, the whole, like, listen to him, he's doing his Batman voice. Like, I only saw Batman once. Like, I have to go with that because it's just them talking to each other, not as much them talking to us.
Yeah, but it's still happening.
Like
so
everything.
Oh, look, they referenced something else that exists.
Yeah,
like they do it too many times.
Like the stuff that Megan Fox does that always seems to be ignorant. Anything that Will Arnett does that's ignorant. Like all of that business. Like that's kind of what gets me. It's like, your normal characters aren't this stupid.
No. Yeah, because everybody is just stupid, or everything happens by amazing coincidence. Like, the only reason that you get the ninja part of that is because apparently somebody happened to toss random ninjutsu books into the sewer. Because it's not like he went after them, he didn't see anybody practicing martial arts, or he didn't see it on TV. It's just like he's sweeping the floor and just happens across these books that teach ninja stuff that he didn't know were there. It's just like, oh, look, ninja books. How about that? And then just learns very quickly exactly how to do it and then teaches them.
Well, that was the thing. Is like the whole more original origin story was you had Splinter, and Splinter was owned by one of the scientists as just a normal pet. And the scientist himself, like, he practiced martial arts, and so the rat just watched him. And, of course, the rat just watched him. It's not like the rat could actually do it. But it wasn't until that the scientist who owned him, I think his name was Yoshi, Yoshi was killed by Shredder, and so the rat escaped, and then when he's on the street, he found the 4 turtles in the goo, the ooze. Mm-hmm. And then he ends up getting in the ooze himself, saves the turtles, and then they go into the sewer. And, like, that's how everything develops. Because he already knew from watching, he just couldn't do it because he's a rat. And, obviously the ooze mutated him. But this was like, really? Really? Like there's no real way to teach you how to use your tail in fighting. Like, because people don't have tails. So you kind of needed a little something else other than the fact that you found a book about it.
Yeah.
Now, I did like the whole, how did they pronounce it? The bump or whatever? where it was kind of like Leapfrog.
Buck, because it's
Buck
buckets.
Buck.
It was about knocking the buckets off.
Yeah, like I liked how they didn't really bring like a big issue about the fact that they played Buck Buck. It's just like, oh look, they're kids and they're playing games, and then Splinter's there sweeping the floor, but then they bring it back later. Like I did like that, because if you weren't paying any attention to like their silliness, as children, then you wouldn't have been like, oh, what are they doing? Oh, this is a game they played as kids.
Yeah, well, it was okay that it was called
working
back.
Together kind of thing.
I don't know why that makes them so much better at fighting him suddenly.
No, I don't really think it's like, oh, well, this is going to make them better as much as it's, because that was the thing, is like they could only beat the Shredder using teamwork, and when they were kids, they didn't exactly do it. Like they didn't like help each other out. Like, you'd get one, then you'd get two, and then Mikey would go and Raph would get out of the way because like, whatever, I'm going to go do what I want to do. But because they actually completed it, we see them complete it. It's like, oh, well, it's like the symbolism of the teamwork kind of bullshit. So I was more okay with it. I'm just saying, because if you didn't pay attention, then you wouldn't have known. Like that's what that's about. Like that's why I like it. Like if you didn't pay attention, you wouldn't have known.
I did kind of like also one of the other things that happened while it was being made was Michael Bay apparently decided that they were going to be aliens rather than caused by chemicals or of some kind. And that's what everybody said. Everybody said, no, that's dumb and terrible, and you can't do that. Yeah. And then they changed it, because that was still early enough that they could change it. And then in the movie, somebody says, so what? They're like aliens or something? And then somebody else says, no, that would be stupid. And so
exactly.
I like that they're like,
yes.
You're poking at yourself. That's kind of okay.
Yeah.
Although, if anybody watches this any amount of time from now that doesn't remember the controversy before it came out, that won't mean anything, but still, there it is.
Well, like, sometimes when you want to try to take something older and be like, okay, well, we're going to reboot it and make it, newer and have it up to date. So, sometimes you just don't need to change what you have, because when you change it, you're just going to make it terrible.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd be like, like if you're going to have a movie about like the Mona Lisa, you're not going to want to explain why she was smiling. Like you don't want that, because like people want to know, but they don't want to know. Like don't be trying to change stuff. Don't try to explain things. Just keep it classic.
Don't they do that in something? I can't remember what it is, but I remember something about it that it happened.
I think they did do something like that, and then it ended up like being not good.
Well, it may be in something that's otherwise not good. I don't remember at all what it's in, but yeah. Don't change stuff if you don't have to.
Yeah. Things can be updated, and that's fine. But if you try to because like that, I think that was like one of the problems was the change of origin story was bad. Like the previous origin story was good. Because, you didn't have to worry about, like, oh, April O'Neil's father, or learning ninjutsu in a sewer.
From
or all
book.
this other kind. Or, them being 6 foot tall and superhuman, and the Shredder needing power armor. Things felt more natural the old way. Stuff feels forced this way.
Well, how tall were they before?
They were like normal-sized people. They look like teenagers. Because, like, Casey Jones was taller than they were.
Yeah.
Like, they still kicked his ass, because all he had was, like, a hockey mask and a stick. But, like, it didn't matter. Like, he was a grown adult, and they were still, like, teenage turtles. And a 99 cheese pizza. Are there even 99 different cheeses in the world?
Is that what it was? I thought it was that it was vintage 1999. I don't think it was that there were 99 different kinds of pizzas. No.
Cheese. I could have swore it was 99 different types of cheeses, because that was the thing, because that's how Mikey was going to break. Because like everybody else was used to, like, they were struggling a little bit, but Mikey's in the zone. Like, nothing can break me. And then it's just a 99 cheese pizza. And Donnie's telling him that's like culinarily impossible. Like, you can't have that many cheeses on one pizza.
Which is probably true, and he only names, like, 5, so...
All I'm saying is if there are 99 varieties of cheese, one day I will make a pizza with all 99 just to say that it has been done.
Oh, I think there probably are, because there's a lot of different kinds of cheeses, but I don't
I
think
want to
they're
try
all
it.
appropriate for pizza.
That's still not going to stop me from trying it.
But even if there are, Pizza Hut's not making it.
No, I don't go to Pizza Hut anyways. Like the Pizza Huts in my area suck.
There was somebody, I can't remember who it was, that described Pizza Hut as crap pizza with too much grease.
Yeah.
End of sentence.
Well, the Pizza Huts that are around my area just like the quality of the pizzas themselves are not good enough for the price that you pay.
Not good
and
enough.
like they opened up a new Papa John's, and we seem
Papa John's crust is so good.
Yeah, like we seem to have better luck with the Papa John's that opened. Okay, now I know that they made the joke about the like the Batman voice, but they also made like a joke about the Taken. We will find you.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean.
Like that came off like super creepy. I'm sorry, but we will find you. Like, oh, okay. And then because that was the thing is like they go back to it. It's like we said we were gonna find you and we found you. So come to this location alone. Ooh.
We'll
because they're teenagers.
Punish you and stuff.
Like because we don't even know what we're doing. We're teenagers that are trying to be serious and they don't know how.
Oh, that reminds me of
the comment
something,
about the hip hop Christmas album. I loved the joke about the hip hop Christmas album. Like, it has no relevance, it's not important, and it's stupid, but I loved that joke because it made no sense. She's just like, I'm just gonna leave. Like, you can't leave, ref. We still have to record the Christmas album. Like, what?
Right? Well, see, the thing is, so much of what the Turtles are is 80s. It's hip hop, it's skateboards, it's Pizza Hut, it's all of that stuff that doesn't fit exactly now. Not that there aren't still those things, but they're not the central part of people who are that age anymore. And so now
I'll say like the teenagers are different than they were in the 80s, and like things have changed, and like I like the way that they tried to still keep them as teenagers, but I think they did a little bit too much on it.
I mean, they do Chopsticks Cat, so I guess that's trying to be the look things modern kids do, but modern kids 7 years before the movie.
Yeah. At least they could have went with like Charlie Bit My Finger. I mean, like that's more recent. I don't like that one either, but I'm just saying, like I think that one's only like 4 years old now.
There's an adrenaline button on the touchscreens.
Why the fuck would you have an adrenaline button on your stuff?
I don't know.
Like
they're going to drain all
cage.
The blood and kill them. There is no reason why you would have that button.
No. I don't know. Once again, it's the obvious flaw required for movie progression.
For this movie progression.
Oh, regardless, it's a movie that needs to be progressed, and we need something that we can exploit because it's science and technology and other kinds of bullshit. I'll say because right now the notes I have left would be the April has come early this year joke, which I didn't really catch it when I was in the theater watching this, but when I that was the thing. It's like, oh, okay, it's like, oh, wait. What?
It's like did
he just make a joke? And I couldn't tell because I was in the theater and I couldn't rewind it. But I rented the DVD so I could watch it.
Sure, wasn't funny.
Yeah, and then I was like he says it again. I'm like, wait a minute, rewind. What the fuck? Like, I can understand. He's trying to be friendly and trying to pose as the good guy because undercover covers shit and science and blah 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 blah.
Science.
But that joke was bad.
Nobody would say that though.
That joke was bad.
It's bad. It's like one notch under the worst James Bond pun that was ever made. Like it's the same kind of thing. It's like just trying to be. It's like what this? No, stop. And you're supposed to be like a smart science businessy billionaire guy. What about that? Like, he's like, I'm gonna be like rich. Like you're not now. Like, how much do you need?
Actually, that was one of my notes. Is I love it when in movies or books or anything, when a character is going to make a comment about wanting to be rich, but they don't want to just be rich; they want to be stupid rich. I love that.
Well, but that's just stupid. Because, like,
That's the
evidently,
point.
I know, but like, he has way more money than he would ever notice anyway. Like, what does he want?
Well, like when you have a character who is already rich, it's kind of unnecessary. It's ignorant. It's like, hey, well, you're already rich. Like you have more money than you'll ever need, but you want to be stupid rich. Like you already stupid rich. Like you just totally missed like the whole point of what you're doing. But that's not the point. It's the fact that when you have like a character who wants to be stupid rich, like that's my thing. I like that because the whole idea of wanting to have money or doing something in the like because of greed, that's fine. But when the character understands that is like they know it, it's like, yeah, I'm being incredibly greedy. I'm not just doing this for the money. I'm doing this for all the money. Like it's like when they take that extra step to become ridiculous about it. That's what I like. Because, I have to deal with a lot of really stupid people. And so when someone is being stupid on purpose in that sense, I'm for it. It's like, because we know you're smart. Like, we know that you're doing this on purpose. This isn't your personality. This isn't, you just being ignorant or, unnatural. Like, this is you going out of your way to show, like, this is how in-depth it's going to be. Like, I want to be stupid rich. Like, I want to have a boat made out of money. Like, I don't want to just buy a boat. I want to have so much money that I'm going to make the boat out of money.
Really, though, the thing is that that's fine. He can just be incredibly greedy, and that's his motivation. But you could release a disease that then you readily have the cure available to sell that other people don't quickly enough, without having to have some space thing to do it. Like, I don't the focus on needing the mutagen for it seems like a step too far that it doesn't need. Like, go ahead. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that you could threaten to kill everybody with and kill a large number of people with and then cure and make lots of money without
Well,
it being
that was the thing is,
complicated.
that's why the original origin story is better, because you just have the ooze. The ooze was just a byproduct. Like the ooze wasn't like the main focus. It wasn't like people weren't going out of the way to make the ooze because it was going to do something. The ooze was just waste that they were getting rid of. But then you have the mutagen, and the mutagen is like being made on purpose, and it's like, why? Like, why do you have to have the mutagen? Because that's the thing, is like, if you've already got the virus, if you already have like the disease that you're going to spread, and then you make the cure for it, there was obviously something that you were doing to start off making the cure with anyways. So like, oh, well, he went and he burned all the papers and he destroyed the lab. You have the money to rebuild the lab, get new test subjects, and then start over again.
Well, he says in the scene when he's talking about feudal Japan to April that he's spent all these years trying to recreate it and hasn't been able to, which also just seems awfully convenient.
Yeah.
Although that's not that it's exclusive to this, because isn't that what at least one version of the justification for the Hulk happening is that they were trying to recreate the Captain America thing and weren't able to?
I don't think it's they were actually trying to exactly recreate the Captain America thing, because like the Hulk was made because of gamma rays. And like there was always, you have like Bruce Banner over in a bunker, and he still gets hit by the gamma rays, and that's what creates the Hulk. So they were probably, like the idea behind trying to redo the Captain America thing was probably just a knockoff. It's like, okay, well, they did it this way and it didn't work, so we're gonna try it this way. I think that's what that was about, because I think that's what the first movie was originally for. Yeah, like Okay, and so the next one would be, and here's where the bad guys give away their evil plans.
Yes, monologuing. Like, why would you tell them the plan? Why? Don't tell them the plan. There's no reason to tell them the plan.
Well, if they didn't tell them the plan, the bad guys would win because the good guys wouldn't know what to do.
Yes, but yeah, and they would not know what to do. If he told them nothing at that point before he tells them the entire plan, they have no idea what he's up to. They don't even have pieces of what he's up to. They have no idea what he's up to. But he just can't not tell them the plan.
Yep.
And
right,
have a built-in adrenaline button on the touchscreens.
And that's where it goes in. It's like, why not fight a giant? Why not fight a robot samurai? They're all fucked up because of the adrenaline. Oh my gosh, they have guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really bouncy bullets. Cause like that whole scene, like they're all kinds of souped up on adrenaline, and they're just like crazy because they're teenagers on adrenaline. And Raph has just gotten his ass handed to him by Shredder, and they're just down there, they're just circling around him, just losing their minds. And like they run out, and then they have guns, and it's just like, oh my gosh, they have guns. And then they get shot at, and then the bullets just bounce off of them, and they bounce off the back, like the actual, like the outside of the shell that's like very predominant, and you can tell that's understandable. It's hard. But then you have Raph, and he gets shot in the front, and then you see like the slow motion scene where they bounce directly back off the direction they came.
Yeah.
Like it slows down where you see them stop. Like they're just attached to his chest, and then they bounce off. It's not like, oh, it's slow motion getting shot ricochet. Like, no, it's like the bullets are already there, and then they bounce.
And it's
like,
terrible.
What is this?
It's like, so how are you in any danger now?
Yeah. Like, well, you just like take like your hand and cover your face so they don't shoot you in the face, because I'm pretty sure your hand's bulletproof too, because like the rest of you. Like, shit. And then it's like, okay, well, we need something to get out of here. Let's get that 18-wheeler. And it's like, the keys, I can just hotwire it. And then she just does the thing with the keys. Like, seriously? Seriously.
Well, really, this
keys,
is
man.
one of the only times that I think is possibly acceptable, because normally you just hop into a random car in a movie and the keys are under the visor, which isn't a real thing. Hopefully. But in this case, because it's a vehicle that's on the compound that you don't know which henchman guy drove it in and parked it there, and somebody else might need to move it in, so you don't want to have to run around finding out who's got the keys. So nobody's going to steal it on the gated estate of the bad guy's house. So that.
Well, who's gonna need to move it? Like, that's the thing. You'd think there's like a guy who's like his job is to drive the truck and transport stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. But Sax could just be like, you move the truck now, or you get shot. So they want to have the keys easily available. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're gonna poison him before they shoot him. It'd be a waste of a perfectly good bullet. Oh wait, they're already wasting them on the bulletproof turtles. So I guess it really wouldn't matter. Okay, now here's the part that I got to start complaining about stuff. Everything that would break doesn't break, and then the stuff that shouldn't break does break.
Iron beams.
Okay, 1 second.
In the brake,
because we're not. Yeah, we're not there quite yet. Because now we have the staff that we don't know what it's made out of, because it looks like it's wood, and then tape, but it extends. And so they're sliding down like the snow-covered hill, and Donnie's just like, I've always wanted to do this.
In a situation that no one could have ever expected to happen. What have you always wanted to try?
Well, that's the thing. Like, okay.
And also that's going to snap right off.
Exactly. Because he extends it, and then he puts it down, and then it just flips the truck over. And I'm like,
what?
No. But I like the way he laughs, though. Like, that's a really, like when people picture nerdy, geeky people laughing, that's what that laugh is.
Well.
Okay, now the sword. Because you have Leo, and, like, Leo has, the camera guy and April, and they fall off the cliff. And, like, he's holding on because he put his sword between the rocks. all that weight would have snapped that blade.
Mm-hmm. Well, and convenient crevice is convenient.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing. It's like, I can understand when, like, okay, well, you know, like, some people have really good weapons and all this other kind of business. But it's like, okay, so it's not like they had anything prior to going down into the sewer. So all the stuff they have, they got when they were already down in the sewer. So how and where did he get these weapons to give to his children anyways?
Yeah.
So
he ordered them out of the back of the ninjutsu book.
Probably. And yet again, we have like another little trope where someone is unconscious and wakes up at the perfect moment to say something that needs to be said. Because, you know, like Leo was unconscious because he was electrocuted, and they're right about to fall off the cliff. And he's like, yeah, there's like a ledge in so many feet. And then Leo that's when he wakes up and he's like, cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, that's a trope. We didn't need that. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be funny, but I ain't laughing. I did like, I guess this was supposed to be one of the big 3D things, but the sliding in the sewers, which is crazy because it's like a constant downhill slide for a sewer.
Yeah, it's like 50 stories down. Gotta be.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
It's like, oh, look, it's the hatch. Now we're just gonna slide this. We're just gonna take the sewer water slide all the way down to exactly where we need to go, like lickety split,
including pipes that are broken that we have to jump across. Like, no, crazy.
But I did enjoy watching that scene. I thought it was really well done. Let's see here. Then they're in the building, and there's like a lot of guys, and of course, once again, they forget they're bulletproof, and they close the door. Then there's the famous commercial elevator beatboxing scene. I'm only okay with it for the simple fact that they were listening to more modern hip-hop music in a previous scene when they were kids. And it didn't sound terrible. Like, if it sounded terrible, I would have just didn't want it anyways. But at least they kept good rhythm, so I'm not going to say anything about it. Okay, then we have our very first Cowabunga.
Yeah. Oh, and they make such a big deal out of it. They're like, you remember that thing you told me never to say again? It's like...
No. It's like, you remember that thing I told you never to say again? Yeah? You still have one in the tank? Like really? It's not like he's not going to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but like that's the thing. Is like that's going to be from a time where they didn't exist. And so it's like, how do they know about Cowabunga?
I know, that's what I mean. They're still trying to keep them like riding this line between existing and present time and also being the Turtles from the 80s.
Yeah.
Why not just
and they
set
say
it in
twice.
the 80s if you're going to do that?
I think that would have been better. Okay, now, out of all the things that doesn't break, why the weak-ass steel beams? So we're at the steel beams part.
Weak,
like, seriously, like who made, like that tower is cheaply made. Like, oh, we're hanging off of it, and it's breaking.
Yeah,
like,
except it breaks.
Who did you pay to make that?
It breaks when one of them hangs on it, but then they're all hanging on each other, hanging on one hand, and it doesn't break.
Yeah.
Convenient breaking is convenient.
Now, even though I don't like the camera guy as the character himself, because like I expect to see a sequel, and because there's going to be a sequel, I mean, you can't have the camera guy wanting to hit on April O'Neil and then just have Casey Jones show up, because then that's going to be unnecessary love triangle bullshit that I don't want to see.
That doesn't mean it'll stop them.
That's true. But of all the people, he does feel the most real. Because you have the 4 Teenage Turtles, and they're silly and they're goofy and they're turtles, and like, no. Then you have Splinter, and Splinter's kind of the same thing the Turtles are, only old. You have April O'Neil, who is stupid and doesn't know how to do her damn job. Because, like, seriously, you know, like, you don't walk up with no proof and then expect people to believe that you got proof when you show them nothing. Like, seriously, you should know how to do your fucking job. You went to school for it, and you've been doing this. You don't have the best job that you wanted, but you still have a job. Sax is an idiot because he's already rich. How can he get richer and be like, oh, well, now I have more money, and so I feel like I have more money. Like, dude, you're already too rich. Master Shredder is like a really powerful guy who has to wear body armor and then lives through that fall.
Yeah.
That's like how does that even work? But at least the camera guy, he's trying to get the chick and he fails. He's always getting one-upped. Like everything he's trying to do ends up turning out bad. You know, it's like a segment of real life.
Well, he's still not real at all, though, because nobody acts and talks like that. He's still not real. He may be the most real thing, but it's still a big gap between even that and real realness.
Well, that is why my note says feels the most real. The most real. Oh, and there was in one of the scenes on the roof, you find out Donnie is wearing Beats headphones that are green.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't even write down the Beats headphones because there were so many other things.
That's the only time you actually can see them, because every other time when he's wearing something, he's got too much on for you to notice them. Because I did go back for that. Then they finally kind of knock Shredder off the tower, and then he crashes. And then, like, you see his hand, and he's got, like, one finger in the mutagen, and then he curls his hand back up, and then he just kind of seems to pass out or whatever. So, you know there's going to be a sequel because of that. So they're falling on the tower, and they're all confessing stuff. And of all things, I now hate Donnie because he fucking licks the frosting off the Pop-Tarts.
Well, even that, I mean, that scene is the best example of the central problem with this movie not knowing what kind of movie it wants to be. Because every now and then it wants to be serious and heavy, like the father was killed in the fire and she was there, and he confesses all of his, like, he was just hard on all of them because he really cares, and, like, he really cares. And then they turn it into a joke at the end of the scene. But that makes the whole thing just feel sort of false, where it's like, well, but wait, like, it was kind of a, like, oh, okay, there's going to be some, like, real stuff in this scene. Oh, no, wait, we can't have anything that's not ridiculous and we pull the rug out from under. So they can't decide who they want to be. Because it's not silly all the time. It's really silly, but not all the time. And sometimes it tries to be serious, but not all the time.
Well, that was the thing, is that one particular scene where they're falling and they're confessing this stuff. In most of the normal stories for TMNT, Raph, like that right there is spot on what Raph is. You know, like that whole little confession, it's true. Like that's kind of that's a condensed down version of stuff that's happened, you know, from the story involving Raph. But that's the thing, is the way they do it, I think they did it too early. Because that was always, like, the thing that you always dropped at the very end of the storyline, was, like, this is why Raph was such a hard-ass, and why he was always, you know, he never got along with anybody. But that was the thing, is, like, I'm expecting to see another 2 of these, just because it's, like, the, you know, the whole trifecta of Michael Bay-ness. So I expect to see, you know, a TMNT 2 and a TMNT 3, and now we're going to have to go through both of these movies with the fact that Raph has already confessed all of this bullshit about how he felt about his brothers, when this is like the thing that you would expect at the end of the 3rd movie. So it's like they dropped it on us a little too early.
Well, I guess they want to make sure they get it in. Or they don't care at all because they just used it to make a joke.
Yeah.
And so it cheats the whole thing.
Yeah. Either way, it's done bad. All right, so my next one is the turtle van is a bit small.
It's pretty small.
It's pretty small, and especially when he's talking about he's got like this huge ass TV in the back.
Yeah, where?
How the fuck did you fit that TV? Like, is it on like on the ceiling, like just facing down? Like what? Because like you can't see it when he opens the door, and you can see like behind him. It's like like you can't see it in there. And then it's like, oh, check out this base. And then they have a missile. Like, really? Why are you letting Mikey play with the switches when you have weapons that destroy shit?
To be fair, it's an RPG, but still.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Regardless, he shouldn't have been playing with it.
Also that Will Arnett's car... that is really dumb anyway, because he's like, oh, well, the news van got destroyed. It's like, well, okay, yeah, which belongs to the news station and not you, so there's no reason for them to provide you with another car except give you another news van to drive around with if you're still covering the news. But there's no reason for them to just give you a car. No.
Well, they didn't go anything over it. Like they even he even made a comment about the fact that I'm not going to take you to the Saks resident in the Channel 6 van, and then they get in the Channel 6 van and drive to the Saks residence.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't take her. He says he's not going to drop her off inside. He hedges it in a very particular way with the words that he uses, and that he drops her off outside the gates. So he does what he says, but
take a pretty girl down to a rich man's place. Yep.
Who's like 40 years older than her.
Yeah. I can't see myself with nobody but you. Yet again, another joke.
No, well,
and it's a song, and they made like it's supposed to go with it, but at least this was only Mikey, and the whole movie Mikey's been hitting on April.
No, but see, the thing is that you're missing a joke layer, because that song is by the Turtles. The band, the Turtles. So, yeah.
Now on that, my last note, and this is a positive note, and I like this, and I like this a lot. But the movie ends with a rap song about the Turtles.
Yeah.
Just like the first movie did. And I do believe the second movie as well. Like, I don't think the third one did. But, like, you had, Vanilla Ice doing like the ninja rap song for like the end of the second one, and like I'm trying to remember what it was that was on the first one, but it's like they just like, okay, at the end of this one we're gonna have another rap song for it, and I was okay with it. I enjoyed it. It was very catchy.
I guess it was okay.
You guess. Like, I'm not saying that the song has to be good. It just has to be a rap song involving the Turtles.
Well, they didn't do anything else right, so it doesn't have to be. I mean, it may have to be, but that wouldn't stop them.
Yeah. At least they weren't aliens.
No, they weren't. Which...
Teenage Alien Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Just doesn't even sound right.
No, it's terrible. Well, that was why... Well, when that happened, part of the announcement was that they were changing the title to just be Ninja Turtles. So they were taking the mutant part out of the title. But then everybody said, what? And so they stopped that. Like, stop this foolishness.
I know, it's like one of the first and only times where people making a movie listened to the people who they were going to sell the movie to and just went, I think everybody hates this idea. We should probably scrap it and go for something else. Yeah, I think you're right. Said once, ever.
Yeah, said no wait. Somebody did.
Like there was like that one time back in history.
Well, Snakes on a Plane was like that. They listened to what people said. But they mostly did that they said, hey, here's kind of what we're doing. What would you like? And then they did that. It wasn't like, hey, we decided we were going to make them aliens. And everybody said, no, you're not. And they said, I guess we're not.
Yeah.
So
now, speaking of Snakes on a Plane, I liked Snakes on a Plane.
Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Everybody strap in. We're gonna open some windows.
Plane windows don't open.
They do when you put a bullet through them.
So how do we feel about stars?
I'm going to give this a strong 3. Like, I have no problem watching it again. I'm going to wait a few years. But, like, I still enjoy watching it, even though there's a lot of stuff in it I don't like. But there's little things that I do like, and, like, I guess the next time I watch it, I would rather watch it with somebody who's never seen it before, or at least someone who has extensive knowledge of like past TMNT stuff where we can just like compare and poke fun and get angry at it on purpose. But other than that, I mean, I'm willing to watch it again, but it's not that good.
I think I'm gonna have to say, as contradictory as this sounds, a strong 2 stars. Because there are some things like that sliding down the mountain in the truck scene is really exciting and stuff. And there's a thing or two here or there. But the rest of it is just like everything is so stupid and the people are annoying and Will Arnett is especially annoying and even the turtles are supposed to be goofy and they're more than just goofy and a lot of times they're annoying. And why does it have to be that the father is connected and the kid and the things and the memories and the VHS tapes and evidence she never shows? And it's just, there's so much about it that's just busted that it's not much above like, hey, want to watch something kind of exciting that during the not exciting bits will make you beat your head against the wall? Well, here you go. So,
yeah,
strong 2 stars. Well, that's all we have to say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll see you next week.
Later.